Hello everybody, this is Thor Young with Bear Bull Traders, and I'd like to do a recap on my AMD trade for you. Today was a pretty crazy day in the market. We actually had a pretty interesting open to the day, lots of choppy stocks, although we did have a really good watch list. Nothing really wanted to go in the direction we were going in. So I did manage to scalp through a couple things in the morning, nothing really to be proud of, just a lot of long entries, and then out long entry, one partial, break even, long entry, break even. It just got really kind of a little tedious. So I took off for a little while and I decided to come back in. As you guys know, I'm in the Bear Bull chat from 1 o'clock till 2:30, 3 o'clock every day, kind of helping pick out some trades and do some things there. So I was with the class and looking in, and we were talking about taking trades and how we take our signals and what we're looking for. And I started talking about L2. I talk about L2 all the time, and this is no instance. So on my trade here at AMD, obviously we've got a real strong day going up here, and AMD had moved up and was stuck in this kind of consolidation range, which, one second, I'm going to take a partial here. All right, and I was stuck in this consolidation range on basically stuck between $36 and $35.90. And I am in a position now that I'm partialing on. So in the room we were all looking for a trade. I actually had someone in the room call out AMD saying that it looked like it had some large asks above the L2, and he knows I like that. So you could see here we're sitting just below 36, and up above 36 was just this large wall of asks. I mean, huge wall of asks, and I thought it was really good. It pulled down, it was holding the average, and it started to move up here. I thought we were going to launch, so I went ahead and got into this position. I went half size because I knew I was going to need about a 10-cent risk in order to do well on this one, and so which would have put me out at 35.89. So I went long here, came back, and actually descended and bumped into 35.90 and just stayed there forever. Thought about getting out of my position, but I decided I wouldn't because I really wanted to see if it was going to hold that level, because I'm really expecting it to make a run for that high ask that I was talking about. So when we're looking at the ask, a lot of the times what they're talking about is we don't just want there to be a large order sitting out on the ask. We want multiple large orders to be sitting out on the ask at all kinds of levels, all the way up done. So if you're using DOS, and I actually have mine configured a little low just so you can see it, when you're looking at DOS, you want to make sure that your level 2 tier is at least 100, and I would recommend setting NASD and ARCA and everything else to 20. And then what that does, and you can see here, and I'll move this over to here, you can see that this gives you a lot more depth on your level 2, okay? And now you can see here I've got these larger orders sitting out at 26.25 and 26.26. This is what we want to see in order for price movement to go up. We want to see where your larger orders are, and we want to see them starting to come in above the order. So you see room to run. Once it hits that order, it'll pop up. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to pop up immediately. It just means it's going to pop up, at some point, because it's going to go get those orders. Now, is this true for every case? Obviously not. I can't control if the SPY goes the wrong direction. We can't control if a huge seller or a huge buyer comes in out of nowhere that weren't on the level 2. So that's why these are just indicators, right? These aren't, it's not perfect science. It's not law. It's just indicators. So what we had here back on my chart was this bottoming pattern here where it was just flat and it couldn't get above this price level. A lot of the times I would say this was a descending pattern, but if you notice, when it came out of it, it started making higher highs on the 1 minute. With these averages crossing, I went ahead and added into my position. Now I did that keeping the same loss, and since at this time I'm only 2 cents up, I could add in another half of my position. So now I'm in here much better. I've got a much better position, and it pulls up all the way to 36, which allows me to take a partial at 36. I threw a market order, which was so it gave me a split fill, and I took partials at every 5 cents as it ticked up. I came back here, looked really strong in the ask still, so I decided I would add in here. It pulled back a little bit on me and then launched, through a market order, got a partial here, through a market order, got a partial here, and so up to 36.25. And now I'm holding for another break of 36.25. We have these orders up at 36.30, 26, and 25. So there's definitely looks like we've got some room to run, and the ask appears to be in charge of this stock right now. So we also have the SPY kind of breaking through a little bit as well, which is very helpful. So, and we'll see what can happen. If we can get up to 30.30, I'd like to get another partial on this thing. And if not, we will stop out at my break even, which is back below $36. So not a bad way to go on this thing. So as you can see, one thing that we talk about at Bear Bull is that the no FOMO November that we're running right now, which is just don't have a fear of missing out or not getting into the trade you want, because there are opportunities to trade all day. And on days like today, where it was a really choppy day, these days might be the best day to trade out of all of them, because you can wait for a little bit, let the market sort its stuff out, and then get in and get yourself a real nice trade. And look, AMD here, by the time I loaded in here, I'm a full 1,000 shares large on AMD with only a 3-cent risk on part of them. I mean, that's just a beautiful thing. I'll grab a partial right there, because why not? And we are off and running. Let's move our break even. Now we're out right there for our add-in. We're below the average, and that puts us in a great spot to hold on to this for a minute and see if we can get a nice run out of it. So I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope you're all staying green.